Chapter 2. She lay on the bed, a towel covering her body for modesty. In the bathroom, the hospice nurse was preparing a basin of water to give her a sponge bath. A rolling hospital tray waited nearby for the nurse to place the water, along with soaps, hand towels, and sponges. While the nurse prepared everything, I held Paula's hand and from time to time tried to offer a few encouraging words. Paula held my hand and gave me a serene, peaceful smile. When the hospice nurse came in, Paula gave her that same sweet smile. It was the smile she tried so hard to give every nurse and care worker who came to help her. The hospice nurses had told me that this wasn't always the case with many PSP patients. Some would swing fists, lash out verbally or physically, scream or cry uncontrollably. This condition is known as pseudobulbar affect. It often affects people with neurological disorders like ALS, MS, or PSP. These outbursts aren't something patients choose, they're a symptom of their condition. Paula had one such incident when I was moving her from the couch to her wheelchair. She slid down onto the rug, and as I tried to lift her into the chair, she had an outburst. Paula screamed as loud as she could, and broke down into tears. When I tried to help her again, she cried out that she wanted to be left alone. I stayed close, but gave her space. Paula continued to scream and cry. I would have closed the windows, but I was afraid to leave her side. If someone walking by had heard and called first responders, I would have welcomed the help. Eventually, she calmed down. With the aid of a gait belt, a strong fabric strap like a seat belt, I was able to get her into the wheelchair. Once she was seated, I wiped away her tears. Paula was embarrassed and asked to go for a walk. It was a beautiful, sunny day. During the walk, I said a silent prayer. I asked for help, for Paula to face whatever might lie ahead, and for me to always know and do the right thing. As we walked, Paula kept apologizing. "I'm sorry," she repeated again, struggling to get the words out. "It's fine," I said. "I love you." We repeated that back and forth like a healing mantra. I don't know if it was the prayers or Paula's deep sense of regret, but she never had another outburst, not with me nor with the nurses or caretakers. It was a special gift. When the nurse finished preparing the water, she brought the basin into the bedroom, placed it on the rolling tray, and began Paula's sponge bath. I retreated to the kitchen, close enough to be within earshot in case the nurse needed help. In the kitchen, I would wash or dry dishes, tidy up, or simply stay busy until I was called back to assist with dressing Paula and helping her into the wheelchair. When the nurse called, I would return to the bedroom. First, as Paula lay flat, the nurse would begin dressing her. Then, helping Paula into a seated position, the nurse would put on her blouse, sweater, or sweatshirt. Finally, with Paula in a standing position and my arms around her for support, using the gait belt, the nurse would finish dressing her. Once dressed, I would hold her steady while the nurse positioned the wheelchair. Together, we would gently lower Paula into it. Next, we'd wheel her into the kitchen. There, two things happened. First, Paula would have a protein shake, thickened with a special additive so it wouldn't go down too quickly and enter her lungs. Either I or the nurse would spoon-feed it to her to ensure she had a healthy meal. Then, while seated at the table, the nurse would perform a comforting, soul-warming ritual, doing her nails, applying makeup, or helping her put on some jewelry. Afterwards, if we were going for a walk or wanted to sit outside, Paula would remain in the wheelchair. If she was tired, we would help her into the hospital bed in the living room which faced the TV. It was close enough to the couch that I could sit beside her, hold her hand, or easily transfer her to the couch, propped up with pillows to watch TV or visit with family and friends who came by. Now, as I look at the empty couch, I remember how, during COVID, when Paula could still walk with a walker, she would sit there as we watched Sunday morning Mass on TV. Later, when she became too sick to go out, she would lie on the hospital bed and still watch Mass. When the part came where Cardinal Cupich would say, "Peace be with you, let us give each other a sign of peace," I would turn to her. "I love you, babe," I'd say, my eyes full of tears. With tears running down her cheeks, she would look at me and say, "I love you too." As time went on, her words became harder to understand. But I understood every one of them. I've spoken with many people who have cared for a loved one, and they've told me how faith helped them through it. I mention my own faith because it helped me help Paula. The hospice chaplain, though non-denominational, guided us through some very difficult times. Faith, in any form, can help during hardship. As the saying goes, there are many roads to the top of the mountain. Pseudobulbar affect, PBA. Pseudobulbar affect is a condition marked by sudden, uncontrollable, and inappropriate episodes of laughter or crying. It usually occurs in people with neurological conditions, including 1. Stroke, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, multiple sclerosis, MS, and traumatic brain injury, and progressive supranuclear palsy, PSP, and Alzheimer's disease. Questions grew louder, but answers remained elusive. The search for clarity begins in Chapter 3, Searching for Answers.